Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. My Dandavat pranams to everybody. Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Today is Friday, the 28th of June, 2024. And we're speaking from Goldrundweep from Surabhi Kunj. But actually today, in our chapter, we're going to relocate to Puridam in chapter 26 for the commencement of the Rasa tattva chapters. So actually it's a very important day today because we're changing locations and we're upgrading the topic. So we'll have a kirtan and then we'll begin. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Aradhikaya Priyatmane Shri Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Narayaniti Namine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavari Paschatya Dishatarine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Gaura Prasthaya Bhutale Shri Srimad Bhakti Pradhyana Keshaviti Namine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Iti Namine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Brinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Brinda. Oh Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare, oh Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gouda Hari Bol, Nitai Gouda Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gouda Hari Bol, Jaya Nityananda Rai, Jaya Nityananda Rai, Nityananda Rai, Jaya Nityananda Rai, Jaya Nityananda Rai, Jaya Nityananda Rai, Nityananda Rai, Jaya Nityananda Rai, Jaya Sachinandan, Jaya Gouda Hari, Sachinandan, Jaya Gouda Hari, Jaya Sachinandan, Jaya Gouda Hari, Sachinandan, Jaya Gouda Hari, Jaya Radha, Madana Mohan Radha, Madana Mohan Radhe, Jaya Radha, Madana Mohan Radha, Madana Mohan Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe, 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 Radhe. Jai Shri Shri Guru Garanga Ganhavika Giridhari, Radha Madan Mohan Ju Ki Jai, Parishabhalanandini Vajeshwari Radharani Ki Jai, Nityananda Rai Ki Jai, Sachinandana Gaudahari Ki Jai, Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai, Surabhi Kunj Ki Jai, Jai Nitya Lila Pravishta Om, Astau Tarzara Shishimad, Srila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai, Jai Nitya Lila Pravishta Om, Astau Tarzara Shishimad, Srila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Jai Nitya Lila Pravishta Om, Astau Tarzara Shishimad, Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai, Jai Jagat Guru Nitya Lila Pravishta Om, Astau Tarzara Shishimad, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada Ki Jai, Jai Paramahamsa Mahabhagavat Srila Gaurikishore Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai, Jai Saptam Goswami Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai, Jai Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai, Jai Srila Baladevi Dibhushan Gaudi Bharantaracharya Ki Jai, Jai Rasik Suramani Srila Vishnath Chakravarti Thakur Ki Jai, Jai Narottam Srinivas Shyamananda Prabhu Treya Ki Jai, Srila Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami Ki Jai, Shri Rup Sanatan Jivata Raghunath, Shri Jiva Gopal Avaratas Raghunath Sat Goswami Prabhu's Ki Jai, Arupa Nuga Guru Varga Ki Jai, Swarup Damodar Rai Ramananda Gauda Parsada Ki Jai, Namacharya Srila Haras Thakur Ki Jai, Prem Sigaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Shri Vasari Shri Gauda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Shri Antadvip Mayapur Simantadvip Gautandvip Madhyadvip, Koladvip Ritudvip Janadvip Modandvip Rududvip Apaka Navadvip Dham Ki Jai, Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopiko Govardhan Dwadasa Varmatmika, Shri Brajamandal Ki Jai, Shri Radha Kund Shamakund Ganga Jamuna Devi Bhakti Devi Tulsi Devi Ki Jai, Shrimati Brinda Devi Maharani Ki Jai, Shrimati Yogamaya Purnamasi Devi Maharani Ki Jai, Gopeshwar Mahadev Ki Jai, Sarva Vigna Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Sudarshan Chakra Ki Jai, Ketra Mandal Ki Jai, Sarva Vigna Vanasakari Sina Shingadev Bhagavan Ki Jai, Bhakta Prabha Shri Prahlad Maharaj Ki Jai, Charidam Ki Jai, Chari Sampradaya Ki Jai, Chari Acharya Ki Jai, Akara Mataraj Shri Chaitanya Mat Ki Jai, Shri Keshavji Gaudiya Mat Ki Jai, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai, Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai, Ananta Kota Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai, Samagat Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Amagina Timirandasya Gyananjala Shalakaya Chakshu Unmilitam Jena Tasmaya Shri Gurave Namaha Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadale Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadabhaktaya Namo Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Shnapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Priya Sarupe, Taita Sarupe, Prema Sarupe, Sahajabi Rupe, Nijana Rupe, Prabhuika Rupe, Tatana Rupe, Swavilasa Rupe, Anapita Chirim Chirat Kuranavartino Kalo, Samarpaitam Unnata Ujvala Rasam Swabhakti Shriyam, Hari Purata Sundarata Dikatam Basadipita, Sada Hradare Kandare Swadatu Vasachinandanaha, Yam Pravajantamanapetya Krityam Dvaipaino Viraha Katara Ajuhava Putre Titam Mayatayo Tarabo Benedustam Sarabhutam Munim Ridimunatasa Losmi Bhaktya Vihina Aparada Lakshay Shiptascha Karmadi Tarangamadye Kripa Mahitvam Sharanam Prapana Brinde Namaste Charanada Bindam Pajami Radam Aravinda Netram Smarami Radam Madhurasmitasyam Vadami Radam Karuna Bharatram Tato Mamanastikatina Kapi Tavaivasmi Najivami Tvaivina Iti Vignaya Rate Tvam Nayamam Charanantikam. I'm first of all offering millions and millions of Dandabhat pranams unto the lotus feet of our most beloved Gurudev, Nitya Leela Pravishta Om, Asto Tarsara Shishimad Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. And I'm offering the same again millions and millions of times unto the lotus feet of our most beloved Nitya Leela Pravishta Om, Asto Tarsara Shishimad Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. And unto our dearmost Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Satchidananda Namane Gauda Shakti Swarapaya Rupa Nugavarayate and all our illustrious Rupanuga Guru Vargya and all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord, my Dandavat pranams to all of you. Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Patitanam Pavnibhyo Vaishnave Namo Namaha. So, as I said earlier, today we're journeying to Puri, to the lotus feet of Gopal Guru, situated in the Kashi Mishra Bhavan, the place where the Gambhira is. And we'll be hearing the Rasa tattva from his lotus-like mouth. But we'll, first of all, honor Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur by chanting some verses from the Falshruti. And we're up to the last 4 today, on page 831. Jaiva Dhamma Pateshe Shura Bhakti Hoy, Jaiva Dhamma Padile Kavi Bhakti Noy. One who reads Jaiva Dhamma with faithful deliberation will surely attain Shuddha Bhakti, but one who does not read Jaiva Dhamma can never attain Bhakti. Rupa Nuga Abhiman Pate Drita Hoy, Jaiva Dhamma Vimukha Ke Dharma Hine Koi. Faithfully reading Jaiva Dharma will surely strengthen one's Abhiman as a Rupa Nuga, follower of Rupa Goswami. One who is averse to reading Jaiva Dhamma is certainly devoid of religious principles. Rupa Goswami has written everything. He's written about Sambandha, he's written about Abhideya, and he's certainly written about the Prayojan Tattva or Rasa Tattva. So we're always taking shelter of Rupa Goswami. And the current, this Rupanuga Guru Vargya, this line that he has inaugurated through the teachings, taken the teachings from Mahaprabhu and distributed them to the world. This Priya Sarupe, Daita Sarupe, Prema Sarupe, Sahajabi Rupe, Nijana Rupe, Prabhu Eka Rupe, Datana Rupe, Swami Lasa Rupe. This verse is a very beautiful description of the beauty and speciality of Srila Rupa Goswami. Perhaps we can publish this verse in our WhatsApp thread afterwards. Java Jivane, one who is averse to reading Jaiva Dharma is certainly devoid of religious principles. Java Jivane Jai Pada Jaiva Dharma, Bhakti Manse Janavrita Jnana Karma. One who faithfully reads Jaiva Dharma throughout his entire life will be endowed with bhakti and will surely realize the futility of jnana and karma. Not only bhakti, but bhakti ras, because this is the speciality that Rupa Goswami has come to give the world. And repeating the instructions and guidance from Sachinandan Gaurahari, Mahaprabhu has come to give this to the world, this bhakti ras. It's never been given before. It's never been given before in the way that he's presented it, this rag mag bhakti. It's never been given until Mahaprabhu inaugurated this. Yes, we have that sloka in our WhatsApp thread now. Krishna Ramala Seva Lavi Senara Seva Sukhi Magnara Sada Krishna Para. Such a man, being fully devoted to Sri Sri Radha Krishna Yuga Kishore and having attained their Amal Prem Seva, remains forever merged in the bliss of such immaculate, loving service. So this is the nature of Prem, that Prem that exists between Radha and Krishna, that Unnata Ujjvala Ras. This is what Mahaprabhu is tasting himself, and he's come to give us service to that Ras. So it's imperative for us to understand the nature of this Bhakti Ras. So this is what we're going to be discussing in the next 14 chapters, the final 14 chapters of this remarkable Grantha, this Jaiva Dharma. This is going to take us to a whole nother level of consciousness. We're not just discussing, I'm not the body, I'm not the soul, I'm the soul rather. We're not just discussing about the negativities of the Mayic illusory energy, but we're going to be directly walking into the realm of Bhakti Ras, this realm of Rasa tattva. So, very exciting prospect. So, chapter 26, page 569, Introduction to Rasa tattva. Vijay Kumar was absent for about a month. This is after the wedding. During this time, Brajanath's grandmother, who understood the dispositions of both Brajanath and Vijay Kumar, arranged for a suitable bride through a Brahmin mediator. When Vijay Kumar was informed, he sent his younger brother to Bilva Pushkarini to organize the wedding ceremony, which was duly performed at an astrologically auspicious time on an auspicious day. Bhaktivinoda Thakur is including all these details to show us, to introduce us, if we're not familiar with the Indian culture, to the Indian culture, to the mood that Brajanath is having a wife chosen for him. It's out of the question amongst Paka Vaishnavas or Brahmanas that they would choose their own bride. Actually, normally in most weddings now, today, in India even, they don't see the bride until the actual wedding day. And they don't even see her until many of the ceremonies that take place, and then her veil is lifted and the husband sees the wife for the first time, because the idea of marriage in a Vedic culture is not that we're attracted on the bodily platform. The idea is that the husband and wife can maintain a team, a supportive team through life to support their bhakti, to help the ashram of their progress in the path towards their Krishna service. This is the principal idea of this Vedic culture. It's not about how we have in Western world. It's just about I, me, and mine. What do I enjoy? How much do I want to get some pleasure and satisfaction out of these relationships? This is not the idea. So it's very beautifully the way that Bhaktivinoda Thakur brings this in a very clear way. And the astrological auspicious time is very important also, because astrologically all these things can be calculated to get the most effect of the activity we're going to perform. So Vijay Kumar arrived sometime later, when all the marriage proceedings had been completed. He sat without much interest in the situation around him, and did not discuss worldly affairs such as health and prosperity, for his heart was deeply absorbed in spiritual matters. So this is an example of detachment. And this is an example we read in the last chapter, how to be constantly taking this Harinam. So this is a mood of Vijay Kumar. He's constantly internally relishing spiritual states of consciousness. He's only thinking about that direction. It's captured his whole being, more or less. Brajanath detected his indifference and said, "Uncle, your heart appears to be uncertain these days. Why is that? It is simply by your order that I am bound in the shackles of worldly life. What have you decided to do yourself?" Vijay Kumar said, "I have decided to finally go to Sri Dham Puri to have the darshan of Sri Purushottam, Sri Jagannath Dev. Some pilgrims are setting out for Puri in a few days, and I will also go with them. I shall go and take permission from Sri Gurudev." That's also very important, Bhaktivinoda Thakur's including. We should not make any independent move without the sanction and blessing of Gurudev. If Gurudev gives his blessing, it will be totally successful. But if we just run independently to do things, then it won't have the blessings of Guru. Guru won't even have an opportunity to give his blessings if it's done independently. So again, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is bringing in all these understandings, conceptions within the pastime that he's describing here. After taking lunch that afternoon, Brajanath and Vijay went to Mayapur, where they offered Dandavat Pranams to Raghunath Das Babaji's feet and begged his permission to make a pilgrimage to Puri. Babaji Mahashai was delighted to hear their plea. His heart melted with affection, and he said, "It is very good that you are going to Puri to take darshan of Sri Jagannath Dev. Sriman Mahaprabhu's sitting place is in Kashi Mishra's house in Puri, and Sri Gopal Guru Goswami, the disciple of Vakrashra Pandit, is present there now in all his glory." So the other day was Vakrashra Pandit's appearance day, and I forgot to mention anything, but I posted something on the thread. Vakrashra Pandit, a great associate in the spiritual world. He's Krishna's grandson, and he's also part of the Chatuvyuha, the quadruple expansion, Aniruddha. So Vakrashra Pandit, very powerful personality. He would dance for 72 hours, non-stop, and he begged Mahaprabhu for 10,000 Gandharvas to sing while he chanted his kirtan, while he performed his kirtan. So he's a great, thousands of disciples he had, and a great personality. And Sri Gopal Guru was his disciple. So this is the line we're in. It's very important to understand our line. So we're coming from Vakrashra Pandit to Gopal Guru. This is the line that Vijay Kumar and Brajanath are going to connect with. Be sure to have his darshan and accept his instructions with devotion. Nowadays, it is only in that Mahatma's throat that the splendor of Sri Swarup Goswami's teachings is fully manifest. So Swarup Goswami manifested as Lalita Saki all the teachings, and he instructed Raghunath Das Goswami, who lived with Swarup Damodar, So Swarup Goswami, Swarup Damodar, is such an important personality. So again, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is making the line very clearly through the hearts of all these personalities. Nothing is separate from these Vaishnavas. Having received Sri Gurudev's permission, Brajanath and Vijay Kumar joyfully returned home. On the way, at Brajanath's eager request, Vijay Kumar agreed to also take him to Puri. When they arrived home, they disclosed their plans for the pilgrimage to everyone. Brajanath's grandmother was also ready to go with them. So finally it was decided that all three would go to Puri together. So again, this is the Vedic culture, that you take grandmother with you. You don't leave her behind. You might be thinking, poor old grandmother, she's hard to walk and this and that, she needs to be taken care of. Yes, it's the responsibility of those junior family members to take care of the elderly family members. This is absolutely the responsibility. So again, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is weaving in the picture of what is Vedic culture. The famous Ratha Yatra of Sri Jagannath, Baladev and Subhadra Devi is held in Puri in the month of Aksara, June, July. At that time, those who are dedicated to dharma flood in from all corners of India and descend on Puri en masse. For this reason, pilgrims from distant places set out from their homes many days beforehand in order to arrive in good time. The month of Jyeshta, May and June, had scarcely begun when these three also set out for Puri, along with the other pilgrims. So this is all at this particular time, right now, at this time, the end of June is what we're talking about now. So we've caught up with them. We are catching the same time frame. After walking for some days, they passed Dantana and arrived in Jaleshwar. That's about a third of the way down towards Puri. It's near Remuna. Gradually moving on, they took darshan of Kirchur Gopinath, that's in Remuna, and came to Sri Brajarat Ketra, Viraj Ketra, Kshetra. Need my magnifying glass. Someone commented the other day that I couldn't have glasses, but yesterday I went to Navadvip to order my spectacles, so they're coming, but I'm using a magnifying glass for now. Viraj Ketra, where they performed Nabigaya Kriya and took bath in the Vaitarani. Later they had darshan of Sri Shakshi Gopal in Katak and Sri Lingaraj in Ekamra Kana, and finally arrived in Sri Ketra Puri Dham. All the pilgrims were accommodated in various places as directed by their respective pandas, guardian priests. Vijay Kumar, again, this is an indication of the systematic order, actually, of the lives of pilgrims in India. It's not just spontaneous, just going wherever you want. Actually in Puri, because they have so many, sometimes they have as many as 8 million people come for the Ratha Yatra festival. So the pandas, they have various accommodations allotted, and they'll help the pilgrims in their, given their facility. Vijay Kumar, Brajanath and Brajanath's grandmother found lodgings in Harishchandra Sahi. In accordance with the regulative principles, they took bath in the sea and then went for darshan of Sri Jagannath. They began to take darshan, perform parikram, and honor the prasad of the various tirthas of that dharma. After 3 or 4 days, Vijay Kumar and Brajanath had darshan of Sri Vigraha, of the Sri Vigraha of Sriman Mahaprabhu, as well as his footprints, and also his fingerprints impressed on the Garuda Stamba, column of Garuda, in the temple of Sri Jagannath Dev. When Sriman Mahaprabhu took darshan of Sri Jagannath Dev, he would become overwhelmed with prema, and streams of tears would flow from his eyes. At such times, the stones beneath his feet melted from his touch, and were marked with his footprints. At the same time, his prem also melted the Garuda Stamba, which he used to support himself, and the marks of his fingers became imprinted there. This is remarkable, that Mahaprabhu's prem was so intensely hot that it would melt the Garuda Stamba. His prem also melted the Garuda Stamba, which he used to support himself, and the marks of his fingers became imprinted there. When Vijay Kumar and Brajanath saw these impressions, they became overwhelmed with prem. How beautiful. That same day, they went to Kashi Mishra Bhavan. In that great house constructed from stone is Sri Gambhira, the small room in which Sriman Mahaprabhu would reside in his state of prem. There, in order to console him when he was immersed in feelings of separation from Krishna, his dear associates, Sri Swarup Damodar and Ramananda Rai Ramananda, would recite shlokas and sing bhajans about the pastimes of Radha and Krishna. They would sing from the Gita Govinda, the Jagannath Nataka, written by Ramananda Rai, and songs of Vidyapati, and songs of the Kavi Kanpur, Bilvamangala Thakur. Vijay Kumar and Brajanath took darshan of that place and of Sriman Mahaprabhu's paraphernalia, such as his wooden sandals that are gloriously present there. On one side, within, is the mandir of Sri Radha Kant, and on the other side was the seat of Sri Gopal Guru. So if you're familiar with the Gambhira and the mandir of Radha Kant, and inside there you see the murti of Gopal Guru there. Vijay and Brajanath fell at Sri Gopal Guru's Goswami's feet. They were carried away in the happiness of prem and began to shed tears. Sri Guru Goswami was very pleased to see their ecstatic sentiments and embraced them. He made them sit down close to him and immediately asked, "I wish to know who you are." When Vijay and Brajanath introduced themselves, Guru Goswami's eyes began to stream with tears of love. Hearing the name of Sri Navadvip, he said, "Today I have become blessed by seeing the residence of Sri Dam Navadvip. Tell me, how are the Vaishnavas in Mayapur, such as Sri Raghunath Das and Gorachand Das? Are they well? Aho, when I remember Raghunath Das, the memories of my Shiksha Guru, Sri Das Goswami, comes to my mind." So all of these personalities, all these names are like, we say udipans, inspirations for their affection towards Mahaprabhu. Guru Goswami called his disciple, Dayana Chandra, and said, "These two Mahatmas will take prasad here today." Sri Dayana Chandra took them both to his room and offered them Sri Mahaprasad. Afterwards, the three of them discussed many subjects. Dayana Chandra Goswami was overjoyed when he saw Vijay Kumar's vast erudition of Srimad Bhagavatam and recognized Brajanath as a fine scholar of all the Shastras. He related all their discussions to Sri Guru Goswami, who was also delighted to hear of their expertise in Shastra. Sri Gopal Guru Goswami called them near to him and said, "You are both very dear to me. Kindly allow me to see you every day as long as you stay in Purushottam Dham." What a beautiful welcome. This is a beautiful Vaishnava mood when someone appreciates through Shastra the specialities of these confidential truths and the eagerness of these two personalities, Vijay and Brajanath, were acknowledged by Gopal Guru. Vijay Kumar humbly replied, "O Prabhu, Sri Raghunath Das Babaji of Sri Mayapur has bestowed great mercy upon us. He has given us so much shiksha, and he ordered us to accept instructions at your divine feet." Guru Goswami said, "Raghunath Das Babaji is a highly learned scholar, and you should follow his instructions thoroughly. If you want to know anything further, you may come here tomorrow afternoon and present your inquiries. You may honor Mahaprasad here tomorrow. They conversed for some time, then Vijay and Brajanath took permission from Sri Guru Goswami and returned to Harichandra Sahi. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur is painting a beautiful picture here of association with the backdrop of Sri Puri Dham. We've shifted now and we're building the platform for the next installment of discussion on Rasa Tattva. The next day, Vijay Kumar and Brajanath returned to Sri Radhakant Math at the appointed time. They honored Prasad and then approached Sri Gopal Guru Goswami. When they had offered their respectful pranams to him, they said, Prabhu, we want to know about Rasa Tattva. Our lives will become successful when we hear about Krishna Bhakti Ras from your lotus mouth. Now we've already discussed what is Bhav Bhakti. We've already discussed what is Raganuga Bhakti. We've already discussed what is Vaidhi Bhakti. We've created a platform now to enter into the confidential topics of Rasa Tattva. So this is where we're going for the next 14 chapters. We're going into this realm of Bhakti Ras, these rasic descriptions of the path to the innermost core of the heart and the relationship of service to the divine couple. When they had offered their respectful pranams to him, they said, Prabhu, we want to know about Rasa Tattva. Our lives will become successful when we hear about Krishna Bhakti Ras from your lotus mouth. You are the preeminent holy master of the Nimananda Sampradaya, and you are reigning as Jagat Guru on the seat of Sriman Mahaprabhu's successor, Sri Swarup Damodar. So we hear this line, this Nimananda Sampradaya. This is a name for the Sampradaya that is coming through Nimai Pandit, of course, and it's called Nimananda Sampradaya. So there are slight nuances or distinctions in the line. We are coming in the Rupanuga Guru Varga line. So this Nimananda line actually has Swarup Damodar in this line. Our line also are the truths. It's the same. But this Bhaktivinoda Thakur is giving this name, Nim Ananda Sampradaya, and are the reigning Jagat Guru on the seat of Sriman Mahaprabhu's successor, Sri Swarup Goswami. We desire to hear Rasa Tattva from your divine lips, so that our scholarship may become fruitful. We understand actually that all the rasic topics are held in the throat of Swarup Damodar, who revealed them more clearly to Raghunath Das, who is actually there in Puri for 14 years, living with Swarup Damodar. So it's described how Raghunath Das, he takes notes, his kadachas, but Swarup Damodar, his notes were very brief, and he reveals these notes to Raghunath Das. And then Raghunath Das reveals these to Krishnadas Kaviraj, and Krishnadas Kaviraj bestows on us the Chaitanya Charitamrita. So all of these truths, absolutely all of them, are contained within the teachings of Krishnadas Kaviraj in the writings of this Chaitanya Charitamrita. Sri Gopal Guru Goswami was overjoyed, and taking these worthy disciples to a solitary place, he spoke to them. Sachinandan Nimai Pandit appeared in Sri Navadvip Mayapur, and he is the very life breath of the bhaktas of Sri Gauda Mandal, Sri Ketra Mandal, and Sri Braja Mandal. May that Sachinandan give us joy. So every sentence of Bhaktivinoda Thakur's is actually loaded with direction. We're understanding that Gauda Mandal, Ketra Mandal, and Braja Mandal ultimately are non-different because they're all representing the teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They're all aspects of Mahaprabhu's teachings. We should become very familiar with these three dhams. May that Sachinandan give us joy. May Sri Swarup Damodar Goswami, whose Madhurya Ras Seva always fills Sri Mahaprabhu with elation, be manifest in the core of our hearts. Sri Vakrashra Pandit thoroughly captivated Nimai Pandit with his dancing. He also showered his mercy on Devananda Pandit by purifying him and making him Krishna's Bhakta. May that Sri Vakrashra Pandit confer all auspiciousness upon us. We understand how Devananda Pandit was actually born in Navadvip, was a great scholar of the Srimad Bhagavatam, and was a very purified soul. And he was reciting the Bhagavatam in the presence of many of his students in Koladvip, the region of Devananda Mat now. And Srivas Thakur, he heard the recitation, he came into that assembly, and he was immediately transported into a mood of complete unrestrained ecstasy, and began rolling on the ground in ecstasy to hear the topics that Devananda Pandit was speaking. And but Devananda Pandit's students were very neophyte and uneducated, and they picked Srivas Thakur up and they put him in the street. They couldn't tolerate his exhibition of ecstasies. And when Srivas Thakur came to his senses, he was very unhappy and disappointed that he'd been put into the street. And he returned home, and Mahaprabhu was totally furious when he actually heard of this treatment. And he condemned Devananda Pandit to never have bhakti. But Devananda Pandit had one saving grace, that he knew Vakrashra Pandit. And Vakrashra Pandit educated him into the truths of the confidentiality of the sweetness and speciality of Krishna's pastime. Devananda Pandit had not been speaking from a rasic perspective. He'd been speaking more in the Vaidhi line. So he didn't understand these topics. But Vakrashra Pandit softened his heart completely. And on the strength of Vakrashra Pandit, Devananda Pandit ran to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when he met him later on in the street, begging forgiveness. And Mahaprabhu at that time said, yes, you will get full forgiveness when you beg at the lotus feet of Srivas Thakur. He is the one you need to get forgiveness from. So he did that. So this is why this is called Aparad Bhanjan Pat. This place of the Devananda Gaudiya Math today is considered the place where all offenses are easily forgiven. So this is one of the offenses. There are other offenses there too that were forgiven, but this is the one that we're talking about here. Rasa is an unequaled tattva, which can be compared to the rising of the moon, whose radiance is the expanding lila of Parabrahm, Sri Krishna. Now this next sentence is very important. Bhakti Ras is the function of Krishna Bhakti when it becomes absolutely pure. By the way, when we're going through these chapters, I would really encourage you to take notes as we go along, because you're going to forget these topics. Definitely you're going to forget these things. And 2, 5, 6 years later, these things are not going to be prominent in your mind perhaps, and you want to refresh. So without having to read extensively, you can just look in your notes. Notes are very, very important to have there. So this Bhakti Ras is the function of Krishna Bhakti when it becomes absolutely pure. That's the most beautiful sentence. This Bhakti Ras, the function of Krishna Bhakti when it becomes absolutely pure. Brajanath, is Rasa a principle that is predetermined? It's a very good question. Goswami, in other words, are the bhaktas, the sadhaks, going to naturally come into this world of rasa? Is it going to happen by itself? If I just keep chanting Hare Krishna, will I just come into the realm of rasa tattva? Will it happen automatically? Or will I have to do something extraneously to make it happen? So Goswami is saying, I cannot answer that question in a single word, yes or no. I will explain the subject elaborately so that you can understand it clearly. The Krishna Rati, about which you have heard from your Gurudev, is called Staibhav. So this is our fixed identity, our fixed siddhadeya. When the other components, samagri, of rasa, now this is why we need to take notes, we need to get the vocabulary down. There's a certain vocabulary here that we're going to be exposed to today. Quite a few words will be there. You should jot down each of the words. If you're not familiar with the vocabulary of Rasa Tattva, you should write them down because you will forget them. And we want to become very familiar, like we became familiar with so many terminologies in the first 25 chapters. Now we've got a new vocabulary being presented. So in order to learn that like a new language, not many words, maybe 20, 30 words only, and they're all in the glossary, and if we can capture these, then we can become more fluent in our appreciation of the text. When the other components, samagri, of rasa, are combined with the sthaibhav, the resultant manifestation is called Krishna Bhakti Ras. So there are other components which are going to be described now, and when those are mixed together in the proper combinations, when that samagri is mixed, then it will produce the right result. Brajanath, will you kindly explain in detail what is sthaibhav and what are the constituent ingredients, samagri, of ras? We have heard from our Gurudev about bhav, but we have not heard how bhavs combine with each other to form rasa. So my Gurudev often gives the example by making nimbu pani. You have your lemon and you have your sugar and you have your water, but you need to know the quantities of each to make a relishable, tasty nimbu pani. If you just put 25 nimbus in, a little bit of sugar and practically no water, you're not going to end up with a very nice taste. So there's a science to it, there's a recipe to it. So this is what this is going to be described here. Goswami, ordinarily at the stage of bhav, bhakti is Krishna rati. So bhav and rati are actually the same. Bhaktivinoda Thakur has already explained this. Raghunath Das Babaji has already explained that rati and bhav he considers the same. He said it 3 or 4 times in one chapter. Rati and bhav he considers the same. This rati arises in the heart of the bhakta from the sanskars of past and present lives. So these are called gada sanskars, which are going to be described in the 28th chapter. These are of 2 types. Adunika, that's in this life, and prachana, which is in previous births. So we'll discuss this. And develops further to the stage of rasa, when it becomes the very embodiment of Anand. It is made up of 4 different ingredients: Vibhav, Anubhav, Sattvika, and Vyabhachari or Sanchari. By the way, if you listen to the narration that I made so many years ago, I mispronounce this word Vibhav every single time. I say Vaibhav. It's not Vaibhav, it's Vibhav. I've just, for some reason or other, I mispronounced it the whole way through. It's Vibhav. Vibhav, Anubhav, Sattvika, and Vyabhachari, or Sanchari. I will first explain these ingredients. Vibhav is the cause of tasting rati, and it has 2 divisions: alamban, the support, and udipan, the awakening stimulus. Alamban also has 2 divisions, namely the object, Vishaya, and the abode, Ashraya. The Ashraya of Rati is the person in whom Rati exists, and the Vishaya of Rati is the person towards whom Rati is directed. Vishaya means the enjoyer. Who is the enjoyer of that Rati? It's Krishna, or the object of enjoyment. Krishna's bhaktas are the Ashraya of Rati, because they have Rati in their hearts, whereas Krishna is the Vishaya of Rati, because Rati is directed towards him. Is that clear? So, Krishna's bhaktas are the Ashraya, the abode, the place of this bhav. And the focus, the object, is Krishna, so he is the Vishaya. Now, I said to you yesterday how this Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu Bindu is 100% necessary to have beside us as we're studying these chapters. Now in this section here, if you've got this edition, it's on page 175. You see very clearly Vibhav, the cause of tasting rati. There's a beautiful diagram here. It's very, very clear. You can examine it, you can draw it down yourself. You see, when we draw it ourselves in our notebooks, it'll make an impression in the head. It'll make an impression in the consciousness. If we just look at it, it'll just drift away and we'll lose it. We won't understand it, we won't catch it. To catch it, we need to actually apply ourselves to trying to impress it within our consciousnesses first, in the Sangvit vritti, and then bring it into the this Hladini vritti, mixing in the heart. So this is on page 175 in this edition, and in the previous edition, the older edition, it's on page 163. Please take a note of this and keep that diagram somewhere. Because when you look at the diagram, read through the diagram, absorb the diagram, it'll really begin to make sense. Otherwise, if you're hearing this, if you're not so familiar with this topic, then it's not going to resonate sufficiently or significantly enough to actually go forward with this. We have to resonate with it. We want to make it part of ourselves. Because as I said before, for many, this may be new territory, so to speak, which is a great inspiration for the devotee who's been chanting for so long. There are so many devotees that never even enter the arena of Bhakti Ras. Actually, practically, they condemn that arena. They just speak, distribute books, you're not the body, you're the soul, etc. And they speak on this platform all the time. They never actually come into the realm of Bhakti Ras. Many. But it's so inspiring to walk into this kingdom of Rasa. But we need to apply ourselves. So the application is quite simple, just like when you're in any learning institution, you have to take the notes and write. So these two editions I've given you, and we can post it on our WhatsApp thread. But please try to capture it. So 4 ingredients: Vibhav, Anubhav, Sattvika, and Vyabhachari Bhav. Vyabhachari and Sanchari are exactly the same. They're no different at all. I will first explain these ingredients. So we've just read that paragraph. I'm going to read it one more time, just so it'll make a deeper impression. Vibhav is the cause of tasting rati. Vibhav, it's the cause of tasting rati. There has to be a cause for our tasting bhav. What is the reason for that? And it has 2 divisions: alamban, the support, and udipan, the awakening stimulus. Udipan is very simple. It's what stimulates you. The alamban is a little different, little challenging. Alamban has 2 divisions, namely the object, the vishaya, the object of our attraction, and the abode, the devotee, the ashraya. The ashraya of rati is the person in whom rati exists. That's the sadhak. While the vishaya of rati is the person towards whom rati is directed. Krishna's bhaktas are the ashraya of rati because they have rati in their hearts, whereas Krishna is the vishaya of rati because rati is directed towards him. Okay? So it's there for our contemplation. It's as if we're being given the opportunity to enter this place of absorption, and it's our choice every time how much we apply ourselves to the descriptions. If we apply ourselves, then very quickly we'll become familiar, and it'll produce so much nectar within the consciousness. Prajanath, so far we have understood that Vibhav is divided into 2 parts, alamban and udipan, and that alamban is also divided into 2 categories, namely ashraya and vishaya. Krishna is vishaya and the bhaktas are ashraya. Now, we are inquisitive to know whether Krishna is sometimes the ashraya of rati. So is Krishna sometimes tasting that bhav? Very wonderful question. Goswami, yes, he is. When bhaktas have rati towards Krishna, Krishna is Vishaya, and the bhaktas are Alamban. And when Krishna has rati towards the bhaktas, then Krishna is the Ashraya, and bhaktas are the Vishaya. There are so many examples when Krishna has so much attraction and affection to his bhaktas. Like Sudama Brahmana, for example, like all the cowherd boys. Krishna is so attracted to all of them. So he is becoming like the Ashraya, and the object of his attraction is Sridham, Subal, etc. What to speak of the gopis, his attraction for them. He becomes the Ashraya. There are so many nuances amongst all these descriptions. We're just chalking out the skeleton, so to speak. And it's through our devotion and our sincerity and our practice that we will be able to fill in this house of rasa. Rajanath, we have heard from our Gurudev that Sri Krishna's 64 qualities. We have heard from our Gurudev about Sri Krishna's 64 qualities. We heard this in chapter 13. You remember in chapter 13 we discussed all Krishna's 64 qualities. If there is anything further to be described in regard to Sri Krishna, please tell us. So we're trying to understand our bhav towards Krishna. So Brajnath is asking, is there something further to enhance our attraction to Krishna that wasn't given previously amongst the 64 qualities that we've already heard about? And Goswami is saying, although all the qualities exist fully in Krishna, his manifestation is complete in Dwarka, more complete in Mathura, and most complete in Gokul. So there's gradation. There's gradation. This is what my Gurudev gave constantly. This is because of the degree to which the qualities are manifested in the respective dhams. Krishna is one, but he plays the parts of 4 types of heroes, Nayak, according to the differences in his Leela. They are Dhirodata, Dhirolalit, Dhiroshanta, and Dhirodatta. Rajanath, what type of Nayak hero is Dhirodatta? Now, I just explained in this Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu about the diagram for Alamban and Vishaya. And if you look on the other page, you've got all these heroes are here, and it's very clearly the same. I said yesterday how these chapters are paralleling the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. That every chapter we can parallel it with this bindu. So it's a great support to us. It's a great help. The symptoms of Krishna as Dhirodat Nayak are gravity, courtesy, forgiveness, compassion, modesty, and concealed pride. So after some time, we'll become familiar with these 4 heroes. It's very important for us to become familiar with these 4 types of heroes because they're interrelated, or it gives us a greater, it gives us a closer connection with Krishna, understanding his distinct characteristics described in this way. What kind of Nayak is a Dhira Lalit? Goswami, Krishna falls under the control of his beloved gopis because he is expert in relishing loving mellows, rasik. He is on the threshold of youth, navayovana, and he is ingenious in joking, parihasya, chaturi. And he is free from anxiety, nischintya. That is why he is called Dhira Lalit Nayak. All the pastimes, all the um, um, activities of Krishna in Vrindavan are this Dhira Lalit Nayak, this youthful, frivolous, joking, beautiful young hero. So we're getting to know Krishna more thoroughly. So this is very essential for us to appreciate. Brajanath. And what are the symptoms of Dhirshantaha? Goswami, Krishna is known as Dhirashanta Nayak when he is decorated with the qualities of being naturally sedate, forbearing, judicious, and humble. So again, these are described in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu Bindu in more detail. Brajanath, what is Dhiradatta? Goswami, sometimes in his Leela, Krishna is also seen to be jealous, egotistical, deceitful, angry, fickle, and boastful. At that time, he is called Dhiradatta Nayak. So all of these characteristics are in the one personality. So we're developing our attraction for Krishna as the Vishaya. This is called Rasa tattva. How can we fall in love with Krishna more deeply to develop our bhav towards him, except by understanding his qualities and characteristics more thoroughly? And they're being opened out and unpacked in these 4 categories. So I'm going to stop here, but this is a very essential topic that we're going through, these 4 types of character or nayak in Krishna, and we'll repeat them tomorrow and go through them further detailed. But please take shelter of this Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu Bindu and get further clarity on these. We've got to be completely grounded on this platform to progress. The mood of rati, of bhav, there's vibhav. We're still discussing what is the vibhav, what is the cause of rati. So we'll stop here. So, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol. Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Jaiva Dharma ki jai, Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki jai. Rasa tattva ki jai, Puri Dham ki jai. Vanshakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhavevacha patitanam pavnavyo vaishnave namo namaha. Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.